Hi friends, I'm Abby and welcome back to my channel. I've decided spontaneously to do a vlog this week because I've realised that all of the books I'm reading are all conclusions in pretty popular series. So I have 4 trilogies that I am currently reading and hoping to finish this week. So the first one is A Court of Wings and Ruin, so I am midway through the audiobook for this, so I'm hoping to be able to finish this audiobook and have that series. It's all been a reread, so having that all finished. I also plan to reread The Hero of Ages. I've been rereading the Mistborn series, so I'm hoping to finish this reread because I plan to read Way of Kings in February. Let me know if you want me to vlog that, or if I just do a review, or how you want to see my feelings on Way of Kings, but I would like to finish my reread of this. I also plan to read City of Miracles by Robert Jackson Bennett. I have been binging the Divine Cities series, so I have literally just read City of Stairs and City of Blades, and now I have the conclusion here, which I'm going to read now. This is going to be the first book that I pick up in this vlog, just so I can have read the whole series back to back, have it all fresh in my head, and this is what I'm going to be starting today. And then the 4th book is A Vow So Bold and Deadly, which is going to be coming in the post on Tuesday, which is its release date. So hopefully, if I'm able to get through all of this, then I will have finished, I'll have finished reading 2 series, and I'll have finished rereading 2 series, which will be 4 series under my belt. And as you may know, one of my big aims of 2021 is to finish series, so I feel like by doing this sort of vlog and by committing to it, then I have this goal and this drive to do it. I've said that I'm doing it, so these series will be finished and I will not be starting too many new ones. Yes, I will keep you updated on how things go. I'll talk about each of the books individually as and when I get to it. Okay, so I am now going to be starting City of Miracles by Robert Jackson Bennett. This is the 3rd and final book in the Divine Cities series, so I have literally just binged this. I've started City of Stairs earlier this week, then I read City of Blades, and now I'm on to City of Miracles. And these are all set in a world where the gods used to exist. So the gods existed, and then 60 years ago there was an uprising because the gods were predominant on a continent, and there was an island which was pretty much enslaved by the continent, and this island rebelled and they killed loads of the gods, and then they are now in control of the continent. And so each of the books you're following a different main character, but they're all secondary characters from the first book. So the first book you're following a main character called Shara, and she is tasked with figuring out the murder of one of her friends, and so she's trying to figure out what's going on. And it's set in a city where there's stairs everywhere, and it leads to nowhere because the city's been half destroyed when the gods were, because the gods were able to they built parts of the city, so when they died the parts of the city that they built were destroyed and disappeared with them. So now this is the 3rd book. The character that this is focusing on is called Sigrid. So I will be diving into this, and hopefully it just rounds up the series very well. I've heard good things about this conclusion, so I'm really looking forward to getting into it. What I have really liked about this series is that it's an epic fantasy, but there has been horror elements interspersed throughout it. So in the first book there was some minor elements of horror. There were just a couple of scenes, and then the second book, City of Blades, there was quite a lot more that was a bit not scary, but it was a bit more horrific to read. There was a moment when I was reading first thing in the morning as I was waking up, and I literally said ooh out loud because I was ooh, do I really, am I awake enough to be reading this? Should I be awake for this? I'm interested to see what sort of elements are introduced in this book and how Robert Jackson Bennett weaves that in. I can definitely tell that it is I think he has written a couple of horror books before these books, but these were written before Foundryside, so I can definitely see how his writing has developed from this series to Foundryside, and seeing his growth as an author. But I've still been really enjoying this. I haven't had the same love yet for them as I have had with Foundryside, but still really good. So
I don't wanna let you down. It's the only thing I think about every morning. You know my life ain't figured out, But I promise if you stick around it'll never get boring. We'll spend nights, cheap red wine, look at flats even though we can't afford them. I don't wanna let you down, I don't wanna lose you now.
So a few days have gone by and I am over midway through City of Miracles. I wanted to finish this today because A Vow So Bold and Deadly is arriving tomorrow, but that's not going to happen because I have just under 200 pages left and it's Monday night. Like, I'm not going to be able to finish 200 pages in a night. That's just not possible for me. But hopefully I'll be able to read like 100 pages and then finish it tomorrow and then be able to start A Vow So Bold and Deadly. So I've been really enjoying this series. I don't think any of the books have been 5 stars. They've all been like a very solid 4 stars and they've got better. Book 1 was the weakest for me because I struggled a little bit with the initial world building, but I've really enjoyed like the progression of the series and how they're not all like direct continuations and there's big time jumps between each of the books, but they've each got better and better. And I really like how each of the books you've got a central mystery or a death that's happened and the characters are trying to figure out what's gone on and how it relates to the divine and the gods. So I really enjoy like the weaving of this sort of like mystery thriller type plot with the fantastical elements and these gods, and each book has some sort of like horror element in it as well. So I'm not finding this one that horrific, but maybe if you were scared of the dark then it might scare you a little bit. I personally am not that scared of the dark, but if you are, then maybe this would scare you. But yes, I really like the characters, I really like how they progressed, I really like the way that Robert Jackson Bennett deals with mental health. So there's representation for mental health and PTSD, anxiety in these books, along with LGBTQIA plus rep. Like, he has really weaved in lots of real world elements into this fantasy world. So you can sort of see how this world completely mirrors our world, but it's very much a fantasy, but you can see so many real world elements in it, which I really like. I really like seeing the reflections in like the political system and the character interactions that are so relevant to our world. So I finished City of Miracles last night and really enjoyed this conclusion to the trilogy. Robert Jackson Bennett is one of my favourite authors. Like, I love Foundryside and Shorefall, so it was great to read this first trilogy of his. It was a really solid conclusion to the story. I really liked how each of the books, there's a time jump between each of them and they each follow a different main character, so you get different perspectives throughout and they each have a slightly different tone to them and they each deal with like they each have different themes that they deal with. But you can tell that they're all in the same world, but they do have different themes that are relevant to each of the characters, which I really liked. I'm going to do a full review of the series and talk about it a bit more. Overall, I'm very happy that I read the series. I'm very happy to have binged it this month, that it was so good to read a series back to back and read 1, 2, 3 without a break and just read the whole thing, which I haven't done for so long because so often I don't just read series back to back. I read like the first book, then I'll read other books, and then a couple of months later I might read the second book, or it might be that the books aren't released, so I can't read them back to back. So it was really nice just to have that experience of binging a whole series and like just staying with the characters and experiencing that. Very happy with this. I have also this morning finished my reread of A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sergio Mas. I've been listening to the audiobook of that throughout the month of January, just as and when I've had a free moment. So I went on a walk this morning and I listened to the last hour or so of that. And it was such a good reread. Like, I just love that series so much. I am so ready now for A Court of Silver Flames. I am so excited for that to come out in the middle of February. It was really great for me to reread the series. I'd reread A Court of Thorns and Roses and A Court of Mist and Fury before, but it was my first time rereading A Court of Wings and Ruin. So I felt as though I knew the first 2 books quite well, but I didn't know the third one with quite the same way. So it was really good experiencing that. I feel as though I now know the relationships better between the characters, so I'm really prepared for this continuation that's coming out, because I feel as though I'm now like in a much better headspace for it. Like, I know exactly where the characters are, whereas I couldn't quite remember their positions. It was such a fun reread, and it was great listening to it on audiobook, so I am very excited for that release in February. It's like one of my most anticipated releases for the year, and I'm so excited for it. So now that those two are finished, that's 2 more series finished, ticked off the list. Whoopee, that's the aim of this, to finish series and get everything read. I am now planning to start A Vow So Bold and Deadly. This is the 3rd book in the, I don't know if it's called like A Curse So Dark and Lonely series. Anyway, it's the 3rd book in that series by Bridget Kemmerer. The first book is A Curse So Dark and Lonely, and you're following Harper and Wren, and it's like a Beauty and the Beast retelling, with Harper having come from our world and being taken to this magical world where there is a beast, as it is Beauty and the Beast. And then the second book, you are following Grey, who is one of the secondary characters from that first book, and a new character called Leah Maria. And then in this 3rd book, you've got perspectives from all 4 of those characters. So I'm very excited to get into this. The second book wasn't as good in my opinion, so I'm hoping that this wraps up the series really well. But I really hope that it lives up to the first book. In theory, it should be a fun YA read that I should be able to blast through really quickly, and then yet again it'll be another series that I will have finished finally, because I've been waiting for this to be released for a little while and it just came out this week.
Will you stay even when you wanna walk away? When times get bad, we can learn to love what we have. I don't wanna let you down.
I am now over halfway through A Vow So Bold and Deadly. I'm on page 272, and there's just over 400 pages, so I have 130 pages left, which hopefully I will get finished today. I'm quite enjoying this. It's not amazing, like I'm not wowed, but it seems to be well written. Like I like the writing style. It's very easy to read. It's very fun and light and compelling. So I'm definitely like compelled to know what's going to happen next. I'm enjoying that there's 4 perspectives in this book. So my weaknesses that I felt with book 2 was that I missed some of the book 1 characters, so it's quite good having all of them in here. I like how you generally get a few chapters from one side of the world and a few chapters from the other, so you sort of get settled a little bit in that side instead of going backwards and forwards all the time. I feel as though you sort of progress the plot in each area. So I'm very intrigued with how it's going to end and how it's going to wrap up. I feel as though the rating for this book is really going to depend on these last 100 pages and which direction it's going to go in and how it's all going to wrap up. Because I feel as though, although things have been happening in the first 2/3, it's all like it's building towards the action, and I feel as though the action at the end is really going to determine whether it's going to be like a 4-star or a 3-star. It's not going to be a 2-star, but like I think that the ending is going to be very much the deciding factor on what star rating this gets. It's not going to be a 5-star because I haven't loved it, but I feel as though the way these last 100 pages go is definitely going to determine what rating this book gets. And I don't think it's as good as the first one. I think the first one is still going to be my favourite book in this series. There's just something about that first book that really stuck with me, and the rest of the series hasn't quite had that same magic. Not saying this isn't good, it's just not quite, I don't know, that first book just had something extra special about it. I will look forward to reading these 100 pages, and then I'll be starting Hero of Ages. I'm planning on reading that. I think it's immersive reading where I'm going to have the physical book and the audio book, and then I might at some points read it physically with the audio on, sometimes just read it, sometimes with the audio book on a walk, I don't know. So that will be my plan over the weekend, because it's Friday today, so over the weekend I'm planning to start that, and that should hopefully last me sometime into next week as well. Howdy. So I finished A Vow So Bold and Deadly last night, and it was fine. It was fine. It was like, it was a okay end to the trilogy. Like I was happy enough with how it concluded. I was very happy about the 4 perspectives throughout. I'm happy with where the characters ended up and how the resolution of the story. It's not a new favourite, and the first book is still definitely my favourite in the series. So that hasn't changed. It's definitely not the strongest conclusion. And I'd say that it was a very fast read. Like, I raced through it. It felt as though I was reading, I don't know, for half an hour, and I've read 60 pages. Well, not 60 pages, but like, it was very quick and easy to read and to get through. So in that sense, it was really good because I just didn't want to put the book down so much. I didn't feel as though there was much plot to it. It felt as though there was a definite plot in the first and second book, whereas this one, it was just trying to wrap things up in a way. Like, there wasn't that much plot. And so the first, I don't know, 2/3 were very character driven, and it was just all characters. And then the last third was sudden plot, and it was like, oh, got to wrap this up somehow. Yeah, it felt as though there was just a lot of time with characters in the beginning and then sudden plot at the end. So I think that's where its weaknesses would be. I think I'm going to give it like a 3.5 stars. Overall, I'm happy that I read the series, but it's not a new favourite, unfortunately. And part of me does feel as though I could have just read the first book and left it as a standalone first book, because the first book was the best book. But hey ho, that's another series complete and finished. So that's the third one down. Good job done. And so now I'm moving on to the final book for this vlog, and that is The Hero of Ages by Brandon Sanderson. So I am rereading this. So it doesn't really count towards like finishing series because I've technically already finished this. So I'm rereading to finish it again. I have just started rereading it this morning. I know that I'm going to love this. I know that it's going to be 5 stars. Like, there isn't really a question behind that. I am rereading this series in preparation for reading more of the Cosmere. So I've read the whole of the Mistborn series, Era 1, Warbreaker and Elantris out of the Cosmere. I have not read any of the Stormlight Archive yet, but I'm planning to get to that towards the end of February. I have the new UK hardback that they've just re-released, so I'm really excited to get to it, and I'm getting really excited to read it now. So I have high hopes, and hopefully they live up to my expectations. But I've been really enjoying rereading this series. I first read it back in 2015, I believe, so all my memories are very vague. So there's not a lot that I really remember. Like, I remember some of the massive plot points. Like, I remember the very end of this book, like I remember the ending, but I cannot remember all of the points that lead up to it. So it's basically feels like a new book to me, because it's also new, because it's been so long since I read it. So I've been really enjoying it, and yeah, it's very nice to be in the world. I have downloaded the audiobook so I can read along. So I was just reading and listening earlier today, and I've read up to page 62. It just feels like such a great way to listen to it. Like, I really like the narrator. I like his voices that he does for the narration. I think it's Michael Kramer is his name, and they're very well done. So I did this with the second book, The Well of Ascension. I listened and read at the same time, and it was a great experience. So I'm doing that again. I'll probably at some points just listen. I'm going to go for a walk, and I'll probably just listen to the audiobook then. But it is very nice to listen and read at the same time and digest the book in that format. And this is going to be my plan for the next few days. It will tide me over into the beginning of February, because there's just 2 days left in January as of filming this, and I'm not going to finish it before the end of January. So it will be finished at the beginning of February, but I am really enjoying it and looking forward to seeing how it all ends. Like, it's still going to be sad to say goodbye to these characters, because I remember it last time. It is just like, you spent so much time with them, and to say goodbye, it's sad. Although there's Era 2 is not the same. It's not the same without these characters. They're just... I just really like the magic system. I like the characters. I like the world. Like, it is such an epic series.
I don't wanna let you down. I don't wanna let you down. We'll spend nights, cheap red wine, look at flights even though we can't afford them. I don't wanna let you down. Will you stay? Even when you wanna walk away, when times get bad, we can learn to love what we have. I don't wanna let you down.
Hello. So I thought I'd update because I have been making really good progress in The Hero of Ages by Brandon Sanderson. I've been using the audiobook mostly, so I've been going on quite a few walks lately. I have taken some footage for it, so let me know if you like me incorporating that sort of media into these sorts of vlogs, or if you just want to hear me talking about the books. Let me know what you prefer, if you like that B-roll footage or not. Because I can easily not do it. I don't know. I'm not the most like skilled at vlogging, so let me know if you like those sorts of clips and seeing my life in London, or if you want like extra bits of my life, or if you just want the books. Just let me know what you want. Yeah, I'm 500 pages in and this is out of 700, so making really good progress. I am really enjoying this. I really like the different perspectives that we have in this book, and seeing the different parts of the world through these different perspectives. Like, I just enjoy having a few more characters, which has been really good, and I really like the way the plot has been progressing. As I'm reading, I'm being reminded more and more of what's going to happen. Like, things are coming back to me. Not a lot of it, like a lot of it is still quite vague from my memories, but things are, like, it is triggering my memory, and I do definitely remember the ending. But yeah, very excited to continue. So I've got 200 pages or so left, which I will finish in the next couple of days. But it's been a really fun reread so far, and I've really enjoyed like being back in the world and experiencing it again. So I have finished The Hero of Ages. I finished this last night, and I read that I had just 50 pages to go, and oh, it was so good. Such a good conclusion to the trilogy. And the funny thing is that all the way whilst rereading this series, there are some parts that I'd really remembered, and then there's some parts that I'd completely forgotten. Like, I'd forgotten a lot of book 2, The Well of Ascension, but I was like, I didn't really remember the ending. I really remember the ending. And there were some parts of the ending that I really remembered, but there was another part which I was like, oh my god, what just happened? How did that happen? And I was like, but I've been reading the whole series thinking, oh, I remembered the ending, and I'd not remembered the ending. I remembered some aspects of it, but not all of it. And so it was really good. It was like, you know, if you've read this series, then you know that it's got a very epic conclusion. Yeah, so I thoroughly enjoyed rereading this series. It's such a good series, and it's been 6 years since I read it, so it was really good to just be back in the world and like re-experiencing it and seeing how my feelings have developed over time. And my feelings haven't really developed. I love this just as much the second time around as the first time around, so there's no real changes there. I really appreciated reading it. I am now really looking forward to reading more Brandon Sanderson, so I'm hoping to start the Cosmere later on this month. So, no, not the Cosmere. I'm hoping to start the Stormlight Archive later on this month. I read Warbreaker and Elantris, but part of me wants to reread those as well, because it's also been a few years since I've read them. So it's just really good, and I want to be able to spot all of the Easter eggs that he puts into all his books. I just want to be able to see them all, and that really excites me. So very happy with this. 5 stars. And that's my final trilogy that I will be finishing. Done. It took me a bit more than a week to read all of these, obviously, because I mean this was it's a bit of a chunky one. Over these past few days I have read all of The Hero of Ages, I've read A Vow So Bold and Deadly, City of Miracles, and finished off A Court of Wings and Ruin. So very happy to have finished 2 trilogies and finished rereading 2 trilogies, and that's all very positive for me in my aims to complete series, which is a big aim for this year. And I know it's going to go very wrong in February, because I'm planning to start loads of series, and that's just, it's just ruining all of the hard work that I put in January. It is what it is. Yeah, you commit to too much. I commit to too many buddy reads. I commit to, there's too many series coming out that I want to start. It's tricky. It's very tricky. This has put me in good stead, so hopefully I'm now in lieu a bit for all the mess that I make in February. And yeah, I'm very happy to have finished all these series. It was a great week just finishing things off. The completionist in me is very happy, and it's very good to just tick things off the list, like done. That will be it for this vlog. Let me know what you think, if you like this sort of thing, if you like my thoughts as I read. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in my future videos. Bye!